Okay, let's see, because if you're back here, it should show up on your...
Good morning.
Morning.
Your hair's gotten so long, Kathleen.
You are here, you are here, you are
Your
here.
hair's gotten so long.
I know. I was just thinking about that this morning.
I think about it every time I have to brush it. I'm like, oh, my hair's gotten too long.
Well, I am a little bit this morning because I've been doing all this myself. He's just been watching me and pointing.
Well, that's good. Then you know how to do it.
That's the point, yes.
Yeah.
I love your socks. You got another match pair like that at home somewhere, huh?
No, I think they're gone.
That's like a trend now, though.
Yes,
That
it
is.
is.
When we went to Disney World like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe just 3, I don't remember. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Anyways, they have like a whole store called Mismatched, and it's like $15 to $18 for 3 pairs of mismatched socks. None of them match, and it's like you pay $18 for 3 pairs of mismatched socks. And they'll sell like pajamas, they don't match. I'm like, okay, if this was at my house, like I've been living the trend for years. So I try and tell my kids that when they get upset, I'm like, it's a trend, it's a thing.
Right.
You're just fitting in by accident. It's fine.
I quit buying colored socks because I could never find the match to it. So I went with white socks. Doesn't matter, as long as it's white, it matches. It doesn't matter if it's got a higher top or a lower top.
Have you found my channel?
I
Yeah,
did
socks
not
are
go
weird
on
like
your
that.
channel, but
I
I
haven't
did
either.
tell the girls to go to your channel.
There's something about this room. As soon as I'm in this room, I need water. My mouth is all dry.
Yeah, it's very hot, but we did get it cooling in here today.
It
So
was
it's-
up to almost 80 in here when we
Yeah,
got here.
it's always so warm.
There's water in the kitchen.
Yeah, I can get some in a minute. I find it interesting. It's no other room in this building. It's just this particular room.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Something
be
there.
starting your,
Then there's something about this room that needs to be cleared because you're not the only one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, as soon as I walk into this room, it's just like,
That is like
I,
dry mouth.
yeah.
Weird feeling.
Kathleen Smith. I've got all kinds of PhD. Everything isn't terrible. Did you do that one? Everything isn't terrible?
No.
We'll just go to Kathleen Smith. Oh, you've got about 50 sites here.
Yeah, Smith is not a good name. It's a great name, but let's face it.
Yeah, at least, well, never mind.
Everybody's name's Smith.
Yeah, if you search
Okay.
under live stream, then it might be easier to find.
I just searched for Kathleen Smith live stream, and then it eventually showed up. See, there it is.
Okay. So, if you can text that to somebody,
So it's working right now.
that that's the channel.
It's like back.
So it's like recording now.
Yes, you're live. Live. And
Okay.
then once they go there, then they can push on the little subscribe button, and then it's like easier to find next time.
And you're going to edit this so that the beginning isn't there.
I don't know. Maybe I will,
Maybe,
maybe I won't.
maybe not.
Sure I will.
Would you be so kind? Thank you. Okay, well,
Did you want music?
yes, I did. But I
We're
don't
gonna-
have time, so
well,
if you will get
I
that
will-
for me,
I
I
will
would appreciate
Get
it.
that for you while
Thank you.
you're doing that.
Next time, I'll just have to get here another 15 minutes earlier.
Because next time, you won't have to do this.
Yeah, next time you'll be speeding right through it.
That's right.
Okay.
You do need access to your
It only took me a half an hour. But I did it. Okay, so I'm just so happy that you're all here, even people who are on the internet. It's just great that everybody's here. So let's shake it out. Can we all stand up and shake it? So shaking is one of those things that it's an easy way to get the lymph system going. You know, bouncing is great, but so is shaking. So one way to get the lymph system moving, and I'm going to be on the floor here for a second, Steve, so maybe you want to point that down. One way is to, when you wake up in the morning, and
We
you're
can
just laying there,
see
is to
it.
just put your feet up and arms up, sort of like an animal, and shake them like this. And it gets...
I'm gonna try.
Okay, I dare you. I dare everybody. Get down on the floor. Come
Nope.
on.
Nope.
Here we go.
It'll take
Yeah, shake
an
it.
act of Congress to get me up.
Hey, look, I'm shaking on the floor on purpose. Let's teach you
Yeah, it's a little shaking, a little laughing. Okay, and as you just lie still, let's do a little bit of a breathing laughter. So a deep breathe in and then just a ha 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 out. Ready? Deep breathe. Oh my goodness. Okay. And sit up.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
Yes. So that one thing alone that took like a minute would it jump starts the lymph system, it gets the diaphragm moving, it gets the blood going, it gets the brain cells moving, it just wakes your body up. It's so important to do something of that kind, even if it's just 10 seconds worth. It will give you a head start on your physical body and emotional body day. Not to mention your spirit, because your spirit is enlivened by laughter. The spirit is all about joy and laughter and happiness. So giving it that jump start in the day is very powerful. Okay, so just holding the breathing and tip your head all the way back. Open your mouth. Open. Ah. We don't often let the neck release back. So this is a good one to hold on to your feet and release the neck back. All the way. Oh, good. And then all the way forward as far as you can. Breathing deeply. So, one thing that's very important to understand is that oxygen is the most important nutrient in your body. You need oxygen more than you need anything else. Of course, you need lots of things, but oxygen is the most important. So breathing is like taking a vitamin. You know? It's something that lifts you, it fills you, it gives you a boost, it empowers you. So now up on your knees to open up more oxygen in your system, one thing that people don't think about doing, and that is to empty of all of the old. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to empty all of the old, all the way out, and then when it's out, all the way, you're going to hold it and suck this part of you in as far as you can, and then hold that for as long as you can. I can usually do it for about 5 seconds. So we're going to breathe in and then all the way out, and then hold it and suck in. Ready? And breathe in. Oh my goodness. And all the way out. All the way.
I keep getting this little thing hitting my nose.
Suck in. So that helps to remove old oxygen and refill with new. Because the lungs can become stagnant and full of old things that don't ever get used, and you just use like the top 20% of your lung capacity, and then this old stuff becomes stagnant and can breed illness. So
that's another reason why you're not supposed to wear those masks, is because those masks are
keeps you stagnant
gonna
and breed
hold in
illness.
that carbon monoxide or
Dioxide.
dioxide, and you're gonna start breathing that in instead of getting the fresh oxygen that you need.
Right. Okay, so good breathing exercise. And once we get the body moving, it just wants to keep moving. So let it. I've noticed as I've started making a habit of humming, doing something in the shower, then the rest of my day, my body is like, let's do that again. And I'll find myself doing dishes and humming. And the humming is very important for your emotional body because it vibrates those there's a what do you call it? Not a gland. There's a gland inside your brain right here.
Pineal gland?
Yeah, and when you hum, it wakens it. Yes, and that is very important to balance all of the other glands in your body. So it's like the king one that balances everybody else. And if this guy's asleep, then all the rest of these are just like doing whatever. But if this guy's awake, then all the others are like, okay, we're in line. The king is watching. Everybody behave. So it's very important that you get that. Okay? And this is a technique that I learned this last couple of weeks that helps to open up, just tapping the sides of the head. It opens up those other glands around the ears. Now, you've had a little struggle maybe with balance and ears. This is like this tapping around the ears and around the head.
It moves your limbs.
It moves the limb, yes. It awakens the glands in there, but it also shifts things that might be in, like if you've got a little air bubble or a pocket or something that's not in its right place, this will help to get it back in. It's one of the remedies for tinnitus, this tapping that I found. So
Tinnitus, can you please explain?
ringing in the ears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Unless you're from the UK and then it's tinnitus.
And this is very easy to do. You can be anywhere and sitting and do that, and I find it very refreshing. A lot of times our head, because we're sedate, our head becomes sort of foggy, dormant, lax, and it's because as a more dormant people than people used to be, our lymph system isn't moving as much, our voice isn't moving as much, we're not doing as much, and so you have to work at that and get your body moving. Movement is health. Movement is health. You don't need special remedies, you don't need special anything, just move it. And the saying is, move it or lose it. So if you're having trouble with something, move it. So just the daily, 2-minute walk, 3-minute walk. Walk around the house once. Walk. Make a point of when you walk around the house, instead of walking, skip. People, yes, the people in your house might say something about it, but that's good. They'll get used to it. So and that also boosts your mood. So those are some things you can do that are free, that are simple, that boost your mood, and your emotions. They boost your spirituality. They boost your physical body, and they just are overall good for your health. And only take just a couple minutes. I mean, what did it just take us? 5 minutes now. And we've done several things. Any one of them could be a blessing and help. So, now, the oil for the day. The oil for the day is myrrh. Myrrh.
Gold, frankincense, and?
Gold, frankincense, and yes, myrrh. Myrrh is called the oil of mother. So but myrrh also has to do with all things mouth and throat. So it's good for like sores in the mouth or teeth. But myrrh is also a gentle mother-like healer, and it's like it's one of those herbs that are good for everything. There's almost nothing it's not good for. Just like a mother, you know, a good mother heals everything with just her touch, just like the Savior. And that's what myrrh is. It represents the healing balm of the Savior that's like a mother to our souls. And I feel that right now. So myrrh wants to be on the heart. Myrrh wants to be on the glands we were talking about. The glands. Myrrh is about peace and love and joy. Everything we think about at Christmas time. And all the time. Now,
It's one that I don't have.
I had it when I went through it pretty quick.
okay, so I don't know if you brought a pen, but you may want to take notes today, and I have some affirmations to hand out to you that would be, you could write your notes on if you wish, or I've got some notebooks you can write on as well, having something hard to write on. So I'm going to pass these out right now. Okay, so
Anybody else?
you are on the ball there.
Somebody else need anything?
Yes, please.
So, myrrh.
Thank you.
Myrrh nurtures the soul's relationship with its maternal mother and with the earth. It supports individuals who have disturbances with the mother-child bond, whether it is a division between the child and the biological mother or whether it be the Mother Earth herself. Myrrh can help bridge the gap and heal the disturbance. This division or lack of attachment may be related to adoption, birth trauma, malnourishment, experiences of abandonment, or other childhood issues. Myrrh helps the soul to feel the love and nurturing presence of mother. Similar to the nutrient-rich colostrum found in a mother's milk, myrrh oil inoculates individuals from the adverse and harmful effects of the world. Like the warmth of a mother's love for her child, myrrh assists individuals in feeling safe and secure. When the mother-child bond has been disrupted, the soul may lose its childlike ability to trust. Feelings of trust are replaced with feelings of fear and a belief that the world is unsafe. Myrrh assists individuals in letting go of fear. Through reestablishing a healthy connection to the earth and to one's own mother, myrrh rekindles trust within the soul. As the individual learns to once again live in trust, confidence in the goodness of life returns and the soul feels more safe and at home in the earth. This is a big one for all of us. The world for the past 7,000 years has been moving away from trust. Trust in people, trust in God, trust in safety. And war is one of those things that destroys people's ability to trust. And myrrh helps us to restore that. But I would add, only with the help of God and the atonement of the Savior to make those new covenant agreements. So our page of affirmations here, these are relationship affirmations, and these talk about some of those issues. So would you just read one and then the next one and then the next one?
Sure. My family members are always supportive and helpful, kind, generous, grateful, and useful.
Okay.
My family members are always kind and considerate of my feelings in all things, and I am always kind and considerate of the feelings of others.
I am equal with the people in my life.
I am free and equal. I am a free and equal human being.
I have the moral right and duty to give my view of things connected with me, mine, and our lives.
My view is significant, desirable, and important in my life and affairs.
God protects me as I speak the truth in soberness.
I am brave enough, strong enough, and intelligent enough to speak my truth.
I follow the promptings of God, and I am always blessed and protected as I do so.
God is the righteous judge of the thoughts and interests of the heart. Intents, excuse me, of the heart.
I love God, and I love all of God's children.
All that I think, feel, do, or say is done to myself.
All my relationships are supportive, kind, and beneficial.
The people in my life take responsibility for their own actions.
I respect and protect others, therefore I am respected and protected.
From now on, I always feel loved and supported.
I am loved and respected publicly and privately.
My life is always full of great things and great people.
I am well respected in my community.
People are always happy to hear the truth from me.
I love the truth, and the people around me also love the truth.
Every person is a golden link in the chain of my good.
Everything and everyone works together for my highest good.
Great. Okay. Well, did you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel that resonating in your soul and saying, do you believe that? And saying, oh, maybe you haven't believed that, but something inside of you wants to believe that that's true. And so I give you this because I have found that when I take affirmations like that and I ask myself every day to say them out loud with beautiful music playing that touches my soul, and ask myself to feel it, to feel those words, it changes me. It changes me, and I begin to believe it. And when I begin to believe it, it begins to happen. Belief is the key. I'm just helping you to find belief. And you do that by opening your soul, because your soul is the seat of belief. So, every day, if you will take the page and ask yourself to say it out loud, because the vibration that you create out loud is powerful.
Would you be willing to put a link in the bottom of this with this page on it so that we can download it and print it off ourselves?
I will do that. I will put that link in there for the people who are watching, and we will be able to, you'll be able to have that page and say the affirmations. And you can also create more of your own. If more came to you, if more things about relationships came to you that you want in your life, put it on there. Like, my husband and I have a fabulous relationship. You know, who doesn't want that, right? So put it on there and watch it happen as you feel it. Now, the feeling is so important. So I noticed there was one in particular that you struggled with saying because it brought tears to your eyes. And those are the ones that when they resonate like that and you feel it, that's probably one that you've struggled with. That your body is saying, I haven't believed that in a long time. Yeah. And so that's one to really focus on and repeat and repeat and repeat. So when I first started the process of affirmation, I had not done affirmations really before. But I pulled up a set of affirmations because I was reading a website, and I pulled up an affirmation, and one of them was, I am safe. And I turned on some music, and I started to say out loud, I am safe. And I said it about 3 times, and I just collapsed in a heap on the floor. I just fell off my chair and went on the floor and sobbed for about 10 minutes, like this. And I got up and I'm like, what just happened?
You allowed that to happen and experienced that. I would have stifled it. Because
Right.
that's
and I
what
tell
I've
you
been
this
taught.
so that you can see the process. That was the process of my body releasing the lie. Because I believed all my life that I was not safe. But when I allowed my soul to speak the truth, which is, I am safe, then the body had to let go of that painful lie that it was holding on to, that was hurting it so badly. And that was what all the tears were for. In order for the body to release something, it has to release the pain. Yes, and you open the floodgates, you let it cry it out, and then you pick it back up and say, there, little body, you did fine. Now it's time to believe the truth. And I have not believed that lie ever since. I continually say, I am safe, I am loved, I am warm. Oh, the warm one was, ooh, that one just hit me like a big wave, and it washed over me and changed how I view my life. So if there's anyone that you struggled with there, that's probably one to start with, to repeat over and over and over. The subconscious mind is the one that's running your life. So if you want a different life, you have to retrain the subconscious mind. And you do that by repeating 10, 20, 30 times, but with emotion. With emotion. Now this isn't hard. It's not a hard thing to do. You just, as the conscious mind, have to make sure that all your ducks are in a row. That you have the right affirmation, that you ask yourself to believe it, and you bring in your emotions. That's what's been missing before.
And that's so hard for me, is to bring in the emotion.
Yes, it has been hard.
It is very, very hard for me to show emotion.
Okay, how about if you change that one? You could put right now, from now on, it's easy for me to show and feel emotion.
It is easy for me to feel and show
emotion.
EM.
In order to do that, I had to get to a place where I was in private. I had to be alone. I had to have the locked door. I had to know that nobody else was listening, because my little shy self didn't want to display any frightfully loud and obnoxious emotions in front of anybody, heaven forbid.
Well, I have no problem showing the emotion in front of others. It's just that I remember very vividly as a young child of being spanked for whatever reason, and my 2 older brothers are bawling like babies, and I'm not crying. I'm not shedding a tear. And my dad looking at my brothers going, why can't you be strong like her? Why can't you not cry? She takes it harder than you guys do, and she's still not crying. And so I thought, okay.
Not showing emotion is being strong, and that's good.
Right.
So yeah, that would be something to separate in your mind, is the understanding that showing emotion isn't weak. It's actually strong to show emotion. So he had it backwards. He thought that hiding your emotion was a strong thing, when it's actually just a coping mechanism. And in a way, that's a strong thing. But we want another kind of strength.
Right.
So.
And in my entire life, I've never seen my dad cry more than twice.
Yes.
Ever.
So he's going to have a lot of pent-up emotion, isn't he?
And one was when, well, I take that back. It's 3 times that I know that he's ever cried. One was at his dad's funeral. 2 was at his mom's funeral. And the 3rd was at my mom's funeral. The only time I have ever seen him cry.
So the red jasper is the stone we're going to talk about today. Red jasper is nurturing, grounding, and stabilizing. Jasper describes a huge variety of opaque quartz stones. From Picasso jasper, I'm going to be prolific, to Muakkite jasper, I'm going to lay low and power up, to red jasper, you're going to want to move out of my way. These earthly babies help align us to our core powers. Where to put it? Wherever you are when you'd rather be barefoot, pulling vibes from the earth below. Think white sand, green grass, and a yoga mat. When to use it? When you want to get back into your body after a stressful work week, a long flight, or a meditation session. So it's grounding, it's stabilizing, it's like going back to your roots, it's going back to the fireplace and comfort and a warm blanket and a cozy spot, you know, that warm, happy place in your life. So I also brought this, I think this is hematite.
It is.
Okay. And I just felt like I should bring this as well. When you feel stuck and want to pull energy from the earth, it's full of iron, which nourishes the blood. So a lot of what we've been talking about today is about the movement and the blood and the body, and it just seems like it's a, yes, there you go. It's a time to get moving, to nourish, to strengthen, to ground, you know, to go back to the strong places in your life, to build the foundational relationships in your life. So,
Before you start, this was the stone that I was recommended to get when I was working at C3 because it helps take the negative energies and keep them at bay.
yes, and with all the computerized stuff that we've got going on, it's really good to have stones around because they absorb negative energy and energy that could be harmful to our bodies.
Well, it wasn't from the computers that...
Right, but other people as well.
Right.
And talking about relationships.
Right.
Okay, so our scripture today that we're going to talk about is the word of wisdom. Now,
Covenants 89.
DNC 89 is one of those little gems that everybody thinks they know. They're like, yeah, I keep the word of wisdom. But I noticed as they changed the Temple Recommend interviews to do you understand and live the word of wisdom, I went, oh, That's different.
Something's missing.
Uh-huh. So today I just wanted to talk about some of the things that Heavenly Father showed me about the word of wisdom that I didn't recognize before. We've always talked about the word of wisdom being abstaining from coffee, tea, tobacco, and alcohol. However, this thing is 21 verses long, and there's much more than that in here. The first principle here I would like to point out is that it's adapted to the weak and weakest of all saints. To the weak and weakest. In other words, there's nobody who has an excuse. Everybody's capable of this. That's important. The next one, in consequence of evils and designs which do and will exist in the hearts of conspiring men in the last days. In other words, there are conspiracies. If there are people, there are conspiracies, because Satan is still there and he still tempts people to conspire. That's what he does. And if you say there are no conspiracies, you're basically saying there is no Satan and that he's not working. It's like, well, that's bogus, because Satan is always working, and the thing he always does is conspiracy. In other words, he gets people together and they talk about how to thwart God's work. So, and that's important in this because some of the conspiracies have to do with the things we eat and drink. And right after he talks about conspiracies, he talks about strong drink. Now, one of the things that happen in strong drink is that they add things to the strong drinks to make them even more addictive. And they do things to them to make them more dangerous and addictive to you. So they're extremely deadly and dangerous. And they do that on purpose to make sure that people stay with their product, because it's their living. It's how they make their living, and they conspire to make that happen. So, inasmuch as any man drinketh wine and or strong drink among you, behold, it is not good. And then he gives us a principle in the next verse when he talks about drinking wine for the sacrament. He says it should be pure wine. In other words, probably not fermented with additives, just the juice from the grape, which is the real original wine. And then he says, of your own make. Now, of your own make is a principle of the word of wisdom that no one ever talks about. But that's huge, especially today. Our prophet, about 40 years ago, said, grow a garden. Make your own food. The world has shifted everybody over to pre-processed, pre-packaged, pre-made microwave food. And back to the conspiracies. That food is dangerous. It's why we're dying so quickly. So, of your own make is a principle of the word of wisdom. Make it yourself, then you know what's in it, and it ought to be pure. He wants us to partake of what is pure. Okay? Then, using strong drinks for the washing of your bodies. The world over the past 50 years has said, oh, alcohol is bad for your body because it dries out the skin. God said, use strong drinks to wash your body. That's what it's for, because it purifies, it cleanses, it heals. It's powerful. That's what it's supposed to be used for. So,
and I know people who would tell you that that's why they drink it, is to purify their body.
yeah, and God said, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, don't put it in, put it on.
Put it on, that's right. So since then, I have started using that, and I make a spray that I use in my bathroom. And I put it in all my hand soap and my body soap, and I use it as a spray when I go to the bathroom. I spray it on the toilet tissue, and it has made such a big difference in my life. So that's another principle. Okay, so then he says tobacco for bruises and all sick cattle. So in other words, it's an herb for bruises. Do we use it for bruises? No. So God is giving us counsel. How much are we following it? Okay, so I'm just giving you the principles that he teaches us here. Okay, and then all wholesome herbs are ordained for the constitution, nature, and use of man. All wholesome herbs. So to me, well, that he opens the door. All wholesome herbs are good for us. And so I have tried hundreds of herbs and have been benefited thereby. And their benefits are gentle and helpful and happy and uplifting and natural and easy and no side effects. And they gently guide the body to its best health. That's what they were designed to do. So, all herbs. Learn about them, use them.
I have a question
All
for
wholesome
you
herbs.
as far as that is concerned, because I hear all the time from family members that pot is an herb and that it is to be used for the body.
Wisely, yes. All wholesome herbs. Now, there are some herbs that are not wholesome, but if you learn about it, if you know about it, and if you are inspired, then you use everything in its season, and according to the true principles of the herb, and use it wisely for what it was intended. So, if something becomes addictive, then obviously
it's not wholesome.
Right, it's not wholesome or not benefiting you, or if it's been processed to the point of addiction, or if it's being smoked for addiction purposes, then, some things are so obvious he didn't have to say.
Right.
Like injecting drugs into our body that give us a high and addict us and then kill us. Obviously, that's not a good thing.
Right, but
Right.
so, okay, pot, because I've always had it's a drug, I'm not using it, it's a drug.
If it's been made into a drug and is being used as a drug rather than a natural remedy which God prescribes because of inspiration, that's different.
Right.
So,
And when my mom was sick, we told her that we could get her some to help her be able to not be in so much pain. She says, I'm not smoking any of that. My sister and I looked at her and said, you don't have to smoke it. You can eat it and it'll be, I'm not touching any of that stuff. We were looking for alternatives to help her with her pain because the morphine and stuff was just not what she wanted. She just refused. She says, that's a drug and I'm not touching it.
well, and that was her belief and her understanding. But in all these things, we are guided by the Spirit. So rather than, being guided by a person or by tradition, we always take everything to the Spirit. But I take His words, and I take Him at His word. Okay, every herb in the season thereof, and every fruit in the season thereof, all these to be used with prudence and thanksgiving. That's the other principle. And in the season thereof, everything comes in its season. Now, one of the things that I have a beef with in our diet culture is the citrus fruits, because they're not in season. And when they pick them green, and then they spray them, and they turn yellow, but they're not ripe. And if you eat a fruit that's not ripe, it'll make you sick. It's like, why would you do that to your body? But that's the citrus fruits. That's what they've done from California in order to ship them here to Utah. So grow and raise fruit and eat it when it's ripe and in season, and your body will be a lot healthier. Okay, and the next principle, flesh of beasts ordained for the use of man with thanksgiving, nevertheless used sparingly. I don't know of anybody who tries to use their meat sparingly. In fact, the diets today are like, eat meat and eat it all and eat only meat, you know. And God says, use it sparingly. But there again, go back to the other principles. Grow your own. Let it be pure. Know what's in it. And let it be in season. And the season for meat is the winter. And that's what he tells us next. Meat is for the winter, cold, and famine. So if there's nothing else to eat meat. Or if it's winter or cold. And so and that's mostly because meat, when you eat it, is acid forming in the body. And cold is alkalizing. So they balance each other. But if you eat meat in the summer, which is acid forming, and the heat is also acid forming, then that's why you will be sick. So God knows everything. So these are the principles I'm pointing out to you that are in the Word of Wisdom that nobody ever talks about. The next one, and to me the most important, all grain is ordained for the use of man and of beasts to be the staff of life. The staff of life, meaning the main body. I testify to you that your health will flourish if you will take that one thing and take the grain and grind it and eat it of your own make. If you will do that one thing, your health will flourish. It won't matter whatever else you are doing, as long as you're trying to keep the commandments, your health will flourish. That is the power of the whole grain. It represents all truth. It represents wholeness. And you remember in the song, wholesome grain and pure may be, at the end of the Thanksgiving song. Wholesome grain and pure may be. It talks about us becoming like a wholesome grain, pure and whole, holy and healthy. Holy and healthy kind of mean the same thing. They mean whole. And it also means perfect. So whole, healthy, holy, perfect, all the same. And is all represented in the wheat kernel, because it has everything. And if you just buy your wheat bread from the store, you're not getting it, because they take out all the good and they put back some of it, plus some artificially created petroleum-based nutrients. And then they call that whole grain. And it's not. It's not. They're lying. So, all grain is good for the use of man, to be the staff of life. And then he says, nevertheless, wheat for man, corn for the ox, oats for the horse, rye for the fowls and swine, and for all beasts of the field, barley for all other animals, and for mild drinks made from barley. You know, a drink made from wheat, a whole grain, or barley is so nourishing, cleansing, and empowering. But we don't talk about it. We don't learn about it. Nobody has ever done it in my acquaintance. Well, actually, my brother did. So there's something to explore. He gives us lots of new ideas for things to do. So, going on, the last principles here. Now that we know what the staff is, and all the things that we can do, and all the reasons, and the conspiracies, and all of that, none of which is talked about, the last thing is the blessing. So, all saints who remember to do and keep these sayings, walking in obedience to the commandments, so you have to add the commandments in there, being faithful to the commandments. It's not just, well, I didn't drink and smoke, so I should be healthy. Health comes from doing all of this and the commandments. And then he says, they shall receive health in their navel and marrow in their bones. Now that's a promise from God. And I read that about 20 years ago, and I said, God, I want that. I need that. And he said, well then, go back and start living every single one of those principles to the best of your ability, and I will give you more of how to live it better and how to obtain this blessing. And he has. He has. That's why I could tell you all these things today, because that's what he showed me after I went back. And I had to live it with all my heart and covenant and promise to live it. Like any commandment, he wants us to covenant to live it. And so I did. And every day my health is growing more and more and more. And I look for that blessing because I desired it. But he promises it, and God doesn't fail in his promises. We are the ones who fail to keep the other side of it. And this is not hard. And I promise you, the more you try to live any of it with all your heart, the easier it gets. This is not a hard thing. This is easy. What's hard is going to the emergency room. What's hard is paying a doctor bill. What's hard is being tied to medication. That's hard. This is easy. I am a witness. This is easy. And this is God's plan for our perfect health. And he will bestow it if we do our part. Okay? And then, more blessings. You shall find wisdom and great treasures of knowledge, even hidden treasures. Who doesn't want hidden treasures? But have you ever heard anybody testify that they have found any hidden treasures? I testify I have found hidden treasures that I cannot tell anyone. But they were for me alone. Because they were hidden treasures that God had reserved for me because I was faithful to this. And I bless his name every day for these hidden treasures. And there's more. They shall run and not be weary, and walk and not faint. And I, the Lord, give unto them a promise. So not only is he giving us a promise, he's giving us an additional promise. So this is a double promise. The promise that the destroying angel shall pass by them as the children of Israel and not slay them. In other words, the last days will have a destroying angel, just as they did in the time of Moses. Do you know that that destroying angel is abroad on the land this day? Do we not hear it talked of on the news every single day? This is the key to being delivered from the destroying angel. Just as during Moses' day, there was a key of deliverance from the destroying angel. Now, what they said was the key of deliverance was, I believe, not right. I believe that they did not translate that correctly. Because when I went back and translated it, you know what I found? I found that what they did was they took the lamb and they killed the lamb and they took the special organ that's in this part of the lamb right there and they emptied that out. And everybody took a little sip of it. They poured a little bit in each person's cupped hand, and they drank that. And they called it the blood. But it was the liquid from that organ. And it is known today. And not only that, they took that organ and they roasted it, and it was like a little loaf of bread. And that's why it was called, that's why they call it matzah bread now. And they had that, but it was like a little loaf of bread, and it was just stuck there, and it looked like a loaf of bread when they roasted it, so they called it something like bread. And it was like pull-apart bread, because it had little sections, and it's really, really tender and yummy, and tastes a little bit like bread. And when they roasted it, they gave everybody in the family a piece. So that if there weren't enough pieces for your family, you were supposed to do 2 lambs. But each family was to get a lamb and take that liquid that was the blood and that bread that was that organ and eat it. And it is absolutely known today that if you do that, and people still do it today, but not religiously, because they don't know this, but that organ has a very powerful antioxidant, antibiotic, suppressant, amazing, powerful set of chemicals in it. That's like an immune boost to your body. And when I read that, and I read it on a cooking site, I read that and I'm like, totally, God is amazing. He gave them an immune boost right before there was something spread that was a disease that killed all of these people. But their families were spared because they had drunk of the blood of the lamb and the bread and the body of the lamb. It was literally the lamb's bread and blood inside of him that saved them from that illness that killed all the others in Egypt. It wasn't blood on the door. It was blood. It was that liquid in their hand. Now, if you are someone who is worthy of the temple, you understand the significance of that. But also, that is the sacrament. And we've been told repeatedly that the sacrament is an immunity, which is why the church has said the most important thing to keep on happening here is the sacrament. And if that keeps happening, these people will be all right. That is the power of God unto salvation, that sacrament. And he promises it in the word of wisdom, that if we keep the commandments and we follow this law of health, we will be given health. We will be given the mysteries of the kingdom. We will be passed by as the children of Israel and will not be slain. And that is what I testify today, because there is hardly anything more important today than knowing this. I would think. Now, before we go, I would like to have us stand again. And we're going to say 3 affirmations. I am faithful, I am strong, I am whole. And we're going to be up and then down. So, I am faithful. And down. Oh. And up. I am strong.
I am strong.
And down. And I am whole. I am whole. Oh. And down. As we say, I am faithful, I am strong, I am whole, it teaches our body and soul to unite in the truth. That's why we say affirmations. There is a scripture that says, he who is weak, let him say, I am strong. God, yes, yes. You'll have to look up the reference. I believe it's a psalm. Let him that is weak say, I am strong. That's God's remedy.
I am strong. I am
faithful. I am strong. I am whole. So whatever you lack, you say it out loud. You say, I am wealthy. I am strong. I am whole. I am faithful. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am safe. I am warm. I am good. I am every good thing. If you feel a need for something, speak it and feel it. I know that God loves you. and I know that He loves me. Sometimes our body wants to teach us to forget that. But your soul knows it. And sometimes you have to really retrain that subconscious mind that was trained by parents and siblings and other people. Retrain it to the truth and watch your life flourish. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.